Hi everyone, it's Billy. Currently my two audience are going to be my pets. This is going to be my visual aid. Sorry, I did a take and then it actually cut off. So I'm going to have to start over. Alright. And here we go. As soon as they shrink. Show me the money. That's probably what you're telling your employers, right? Well, I hope not. The reason why you might be telling them this is because of unfair compensation. And the thing is, it's real. Sadly, we have so many ways of pay discrimination. And with the help from professors, economists, and common workers, I was able to determine how unfair higher-ups can treat us. And sadly, it is a lot. There are many various ways to do pay discrimination, and here are some of them. Many people's paychecks can be discriminated, or at least their pay can be discriminated because their gender, race, and or age, because of the misuse of power in the higher ups, and the legal loopholes that we have sadly created out of support and actual want to help people to come out of poverty. But corporations have found ways to manipulate it for their own use. Now, of course, I want this to help ensure or help create a movement where we can actually be paid fairly and actually compensated for all the hard work that we are doing, because we deserve it. Now, to start this off, we should actually go back in the way before in the history of how pay discrimination came to be, which is basically on gender, race, and or age. Now, of course, to many of you, you may think this is a no-brainer, and you're right. Of course it's not. But it goes way more in depth than the unmatching paychecks. For example, in Mr. Zilberman's article, I was able to discover that the United States is actually one of the worst places for a woman to be working. And the reason why is because of unfair compensation. Now, of course, in the 1960s, the U.S. did pass a law for no more pay discrimination, yet last year was the last time we had to make actual changes to that. We are still having to make changes in order for everyone to ensure fair pay and equalness. How hard can it be to pay everyone equally? Apparently, it is very hard. Now, the next one is sadly based upon mostly race. In Mrs. North's article, I discovered how sadly white women are the ones that make more than colored women. And I myself have seen this firsthand. I have seen many women of color be treated less valuable and paid less than the others that worked there. And it had nothing to do with their work. The women who actually were being paid more just sat and talked on the phone while the women of color actually performed cleaning duties, making food, or actually getting items for the customers and actually providing customer service. Now, of course, this is only just the head of pay discrimination, and it goes even further, such as the hierarchy of management, which is having them misuse their power. Now, in one interview that I conducted, I discovered how a former cell phone manager was paid less than a crew member that started out a few months before a few months after she was promoted. The crew member was receiving $1.25 more than the manager. When the manager informed the branch district manager, he simply stated, "Work harder." Now, of course, there were no deductions or raises to any of the paychecks, so the person had to leave because of the invaluable treatment that she received. The next is managers using their power to assign their level tasks to crew members. For example, from an interview that I conducted with a fast food team member, she told me how a manager went to have a smoke break for 30 minutes. She had to solo a line, which is a 3-person job. When the manager came back, she asked the crew member to perform a new training. Now, of course, you have to undergo training in order to train a person. Yet, that crew member never had that. So, of course, this is a big misuse of power because the manager was simply being lazy and not wanting to train the employee herself because she instead wanted to go take her lunch at the restaurant at Applebee's. Now, the last one is the legal loopholes that corporations are able to go through because we allow them, such as the minimum wage. Now, of course, minimum wage is supposed to help many of us that are in poverty, yet is actually helping corporations because they will first start off with that pay. Now, sorry. Now, in Mr. Harmon's research, he declares how many corporations will first fire people who have worked at the company longer and who are actually being compensated fairly. So many new hirees can come in and be paid at the minimum wage. And basically because they have no training and no experience. And sadly, this is allowed. We have nothing to do to change this, so the corporations are able to do this and lessen pay for many of the workers. And of course, the new hirees don't know that they should be being paid more than what they're actually being told. And the last article by Mr. Gagoon, he discusses how many of the corporations will at first be very big projects, yet they will break them up in small parts. So in order to make the person who is conducting the small project feel like it's not as much work. But yet, even though this happens, the job qualifies to have requirements of a degree, any other certifications that minimum wage jobs shouldn't require because they should just be requiring the minimum. And of course, the minimum is not a degree. Now, this is a big problem to have pay discrimination because we should all be being paid for the hard work that we are doing. Which is why I would like for us to ensure the Equal Work, Equal Pay Act for fair compensation. We need to create more bindings for corporations to lessen the manipulation between us and them and actually build a stronger community and actually help people come out of poverty. We actually should be getting paid for the hard work that we conduct and actually be paid for the time that we are spending there as well. It is our money and we actually deserve the right to have it. We deserve to be compensated fairly for the work that we conduct.